Hey guys, so before this video starts, I want to give out a little demonstration to you guys just of how this works. And as you can see, I got my friend ROBLOX over here dancing for some reason. Mushroom man, lol. Anyways, rate me out of 5. Just do anything. So, ROBLOX, my friend, is going to rate me a certain number. As you can see, I'm currently 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5. Mushroom man, go XD. As you can see, I've been rated another 4 out of 5 by my friend ROBLOX, and as you can see, the average is still the same. My last rating is still 4 out of 5. So as you can see, I can rate my friend over here. So as you can see, his average rating is 0, last rating is 0. So I'm gonna rate him 5, because why not? As you can see, the stars light up whatever you're going up to them. So if I do 1, only 1 lights up. If I go 5, all of them. So let's click send rating. 3, 2, 1, send. And I can rate again in 60 seconds. As you can see, his average rating is 5 because he has only gotten 1 rating yet. So anything divided by 1 is going to be the same. And then the last rating he got was 5 because I just gave him 5 stars. As you can see, if you try to vote again in your debounce, in your little cooldown, watch what happens. As you can see, it just turns red. You cannot rate someone when you're still on cooldown. There's also another part of this tutorial, and that is over here. We got the booth stands. So I can claim a booth. As you can see, ROBLOX already did it. I can claim a booth, and I can change the text of it. So tutorial, change text, and as you can see, it will change to tutorial. And over here, you can change your image ID. So this little image over here, you can change it to whatever you want, but that is up to you. So let me just do epic man, and then to the right, change text. And as you can see, epic man is ROBLOX. It's pretty funny. And if you're probably thinking like, hey, I'm sick of my booth, I don't want it. So I'm just going to click unclaim booth, boom. And everything disappears, and I can claim another booth again. So as you can see over here, claim booth. And as you can see, I can claim the booth. So if you want to know how to make this a ROBLOX studio, make sure to watch this video all the way to the end to find out exactly how to make this. Hey guys, and welcome back to this brand new tutorial on my YouTube channel. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you can make a Rate My Avatar game. So there's this game on ROBLOX where you can join and you can claim a booth. You know, one of those stands like in Please Donate, but we're not making Please Donate. No. We're making Rate My Avatar. So what that means, people can go up to you, they can press E on you, and then they can give you a certain amount of stars. And 1 star is equals to 1 rate, you know. So if you get 5 stars, you get a 5 rating. Basically that. We're going to be creating that in 2 parts in this tutorial. And it's going to be an epic tutorial. So if you're new to my channel, make sure to give it a like if you like it. If you don't like it, drop a dislike on the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification bell. Do anything you want. Become a member by pressing the blue join button down below. And that's basically all I wanted to say. But before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to ROBLOX for giving me all the source code for this tutorial. So thanks to ROBLOX for making this possible. And that's all I wanted to say. So thank you for that. And without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. So before we start, you're in your game right now. As you can see, I'm in my Rate My Avatar game tutorial. As you can see, and we're gonna go to game settings, and we're gonna go to security, and we're gonna enable studio access to API services. So just click that, just tick it, and then click save. This means people can save their data on your game. So basically just data storage. It's really handy because we're going to use it. So let's continue. So again, before we continue, get the model from the link in the description. Just get it and then we can continue. Once you got the model, click on view, click on toolbox, and then go to the 4 blocks over here and click on Rate My Avatar Newbie. Click OK. And you'll see all of these booth stands. And you can do as many as you want. If you do want to do more, just do this and simply just copy them and just drag them over. But that's not what we're going to be doing. What we're going to be doing, you want to put them into where they belong. So booths go into workspace. Delete the folder. Start to GUI goes in start to GUI, and delete the folder. Server script service, and replicated storage booth. Just like that. And now you got 8, I believe 8, yep, 1, 2, 3, yep, 8 we got 8 booth stands right now. And in this tutorial, we're going to be coding the server script. And in the second tutorial, we're going to be coding the client script. And the reason for that is because I don't think people like watching 45-minute tutorials. And YouTube algorithms show that 15 minutes is mostly the maximum of what a user wants to watch. But basically, I want to a little bit aim to that. So that's why we're splitting this in 2 parts, just for the user preferences. You want to go to server, and then we're going to code the server. So let me zoom in. The server is 185 lines long. So just so you know, but we're going to guide you through it. So local replicated storage is equals to game colon get service replicated storage, as you can see. And what this does, if replicated storage over here doesn't exist, then we're going to make it for you. Oh. And then what we're going to be doing now is local remote event is equals to replicated storage dot remote event, because we just put a remote event in replicated storage. And then local booths, whatever you want to call them, and we're gonna put those in workspace. So as you can see, we already put them in workspace. So game colon get service workspace, because they're in workspace, dot booths, you know, just like that. Local text service is equals to game colon get service text service, just like that. We need 3 more variables. Local data store service is equals to game colon get service data store service, so we can save data. We need a database in that, so rate db, because we're gonna save your ratings, you know. We're gonna put those in data store service colon get data store rate db, like this. And then lastly, local players is equals to game colon get service players. What we're going to be doing now is we need to make a few functions. We need to make around 6 functions, I believe. The first one is function round number, and we need a number and a num decimal places. What this does, we're gonna give you an average rating, and if you divide a certain number with a certain number, you're gonna get infinite decimals. So for example, if you would divide 10 by 3, you're gonna get 3.3333 and continue to infinity. We don't want that. We just want 1 decimal. So if you were to get a average rating of 3.33333, etc., it will just be 3.3. Simple as that. To do that, return toNumber and then string.format. We're gonna format something. So you should have this toNumber open bracket string format open bracket close, just like that. And then percentage dot, like this, and then dot, and then more brackets, num decimal places, or 0, and then dot, and then speech marks f, and comma number. Okay, so this is what you should have. And now let's continue to the next function. Function calculate average v1 and v2. So local average is equals to round number. We're going to immediately use and initialize the round number function. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide v1 by v2 by 1. And what this 1 does, 1 is the number, or num decimal places is the decimal amount you're going to get. So if you do 3, you're going to get 3.333. If you do 1, 3.3. If you do, for example, 10, you're going to get like 4.111111, etc. Till you have 10 of those ones. And we just need to return this average. Now, function save data of the player, because we need to save some data. Local elements, elements, my English is quit on me completely. Player.lastRating.value, because we're going to save your last rating, how many players rated you, and how many total rates you got. Player.playersVoted, dot value, and lastly player dot total rates dot value. We're gonna wrap this in a pcal, which prevents it from erroring, and then rate database set async. We're gonna save this on the player's user ID, so player.userid, and we're gonna be saving the elements which we just created over here. Function reset booth with a player and a booth. And what this does is, if you own one of these things and you leave the game will just do nothing if you don't have anything implemented for that function. So what we're doing, if you leave, the booth will reset itself. So booth.display.surface GUI .image label .image is equals to, and then go to the description and there will be a little link-ish thingy, but you just want to copy and paste that. This is the normal GUI thingy, you know. So like if there's no image, you get this, and that is exactly what this is. But it's just kind of hard to type it over, so it will be in the description. Booth.display.attachment, because for some reason Roblox prefers you to have proximity prompts attached to an attachment, if that even makes sense. There's going to be a proximity prompt in that, so attachment.proximityPrompt.enabled is equals to true, so other people can claim your booth now since you don't own it anymore. Booth.display.boothOwner.value is equals to nil, so there's a value in one of the booths, or in all of them, as you can see, and that value will determine who's the owner. After you left the game, we're going to do booth.display.surface GUI .text label.text is equals to, and then as you can see over here, unclaimed booth. So we're going to do that exactly the same, unclaimed booth, like that. And then player.owned booth.value is equals to nil, so you don't own any booth anymore in case you even unclaim it. And if player, then, so if there's a player still in the game, so we don't know if you're clicking on unclaim booth or if you are leaving the game. But if you are unclaiming your booth, then we're gonna send a remote event just to remove the UI because you're still in the game. So remote event fire client. We're gonna fire player and booth unclaimed because you just unclaimed a booth. Makes sense, right? Ha ha ha. Yes. Now here is the longest, trickiest, and probably, yeah, just one of the things. This is the player added function. And you really need this or else this won't work at all. So local function, player added, with the parameter of a player, because you need a player. Local, we're going to get a lot of values over here. Local owned booth is equals to instance.new, an object value. Owned booth.name is equals to owned booth. Owned booth.value is equals to nil because you don't own anything when you join the game. Owned booth.parent is equals to player. And now you just want to copy this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And the first one is last rating. So change this, last rating, last rating, last rating, last rating. And change this to 0. And change this to number value. Like that. And now do that for all of them. So 0, 0, number value, and then change this one to players voted, and change this one to total rates, and then players voted. As you can see, player, and then total rates, total. Why does it keep going up? Total. As you can see. And that is how you make a lot of values in a short amount of time. Local data, and leave it empty. Local s, e is equals to a pcal function. Oh. As you can see, what this does is prevent it from erroring. So data is equals to rate database, which we just gave it a thing. Get async player user ID, because what this does, we're saving on your user ID, so we have to retrieve it on your user ID. So if there's data, if data, then, and then if, if data if data1, so the first parameter, the first index, which is this. So as you can see, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're first checking for 1, last rating. So if data1, then last rating dot value is equal to data1. And if that's not the case, then last rating dot value is equal to 0. And actually, you could just copy and paste this 2 more times. So data2, data2, and Roblox is being annoying lately. Data3, data3, and this should be players voted, and then players voted, and this one is total rates, and then total rates. So this is how you do a quick data loader. Local average rating is equal to instance.new a number value, because a rating is a number. Average rating dot name is equals to average rating. As you can see it right over there. What we're going to be doing is average rating dot parent is equals to player, because we're going to put it in the player, and now we're going to detect what amount of value you have, because if you don't have any value, we cannot give you an average rating. So what we're going to be doing to do that is, if players voted that value is other than nothing or other than 0, and total rates that value is other than 0, then if that's the case, we're going to do average rating that value is equals to calculate average, and we're going to do total rates that value and players voted that value. So for example, we're going to get 5 divided by 2, and that is something in the 5 divided by 2, probably a big number. Anyways, else average rating that value is equals to 0. So if you don't have anything, if you don't have any data, we're going to set it to 0, or else it will be set to NaN, and that is not a number. I just did the math. 5 divided by 2 is actually 2.5. That is pretty stupid, but in my head, I accidentally turned it around. Anyways, local debounce, because we're going to give players a global debounce. So if you vote for a player, you're going to wait a minute until you can vote for anyone else again. Local debounce is equals to instance.new, a bool value this time. So we got an object value, we got a number value, and we got a bool value. We're at the bool value now. Debounce. Debounce.name is equals to debounce. And then debounce.value is equals to false, because if you join the game, you can, of course, vote, which should be logical. And debounce.parent is equals to player. After that, we're going to send a remote event to the client with the player as the first parameter, and then starts. And what this does, I had a little error where Roblox didn't load your values. So what I did to do that, to fix it, is when you join the game and your data has been loaded in, we send a remote event so we can do further actions. Now, the last thing for this function, and that is going to be player character added, connect function of a character. Local prompt is equal to instance.new, a proximity prompt, into character.humanoid root part. And what this does is it will create a proximity prompt in your humanoid root part so other players can vote for you. Prompt.name is equal to rate prompt, because it's a proximity prompt to rate people. Prompt.object text is equals to rate and then ..player.name. And what this does is it will say like rate this player. So for example, rate Roblox, or rate Newbie Derpy Dev, or rate Games Paula, I don't know, anything. Prompt.requires line of sight is equals to false, because what this does, your character is going to block it anyway, and turning it off will make it able for the rest. Remote event fire client, and we're going to put this into remove self prompt. In this second tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you can remove the prompt for yourself, because if you would join the game right now, you would see that there's going to be a prompt on your head, and you do not want that. I get that. But that is on to the client and not the server. Now, prompt.triggered :connect function of a PLR, so not player but PLR, remote event fire client. We're going to fire this to the PLR, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to open raid menu, as you can see, open raid menu, and we're going to fire the player.name. So we're going to fire the player you're trying to vote, and that is the function done. Local function player removing of a player if player.owned booth that value is equals, or well, we don't even need to do that. If player.owned booth that value, then, so if it's true, then we're going to reset your booth player.owned booth that value. That's what we're basically going to be doing. So over here, yeah, we're just checking what booth you own and all that stuff. You know, you get the point. And at the end, we're just going to save data player. We're just going to save your data because you're leaving the game. We're almost done with the script. We just need 50 more lines and then we're good. Remote event .onServer event :connect function a player argument 2 argument 3. You're probably thinking, newbie, you're going a little bit fast. I'm sorry. But we need a player, an argument 2, and an argument 3. We need multiple arguments. So now, local booth is equals to player.owned booth.value. If argument is equals to change text. So if you're going to change text on your booth, we're gonna run it through a ROBLOX filter so that you don't get banned off your game. Local filtered text is equals to nothing. Local s, e is equals to a pcal function, blah blah blah, you get the point. Filtered text is equals to text service filter string async. We're gonna filter argument 2 on your user ID, and we're gonna do :get chat for user async player.user ID. This is how you filter in Roblox, and that's all you want to do. Like here, if not s, then warn e, and then end like that, and then booth, just booth.display.surface GUI.textLabel.text is equals to filter text because we just filtered it. Else if argument is equals to change image, because you can also change your image on your booth. So if that's what is Roblox doing? So if you're going to change your image, then what we're going to be doing is booth.display.surface GUI.image label.image is equals or just equals to http://www.roblox.com/asset/?ID equals, like this. And we're going to do argument 2. Like that. Roblox is being super annoying lately. I have no idea why, but you get the point. Else if argument is equals to unclaim booth. So if you're going to unclaim your booth, then what we're going to be doing, reset booth, player, booth. We're just going to reset your entire booth. And remote event, fire client, player, enable prompts. Because what we're going to be doing, if you have a booth, we are going to disable the rest. So you cannot claim any more booths. And then simply, we're just going to be enabling them if you unclaim your booth. That is how simple it is. Now the last function, and that is else if argument, is equals to rated. So if you're getting rated, so not rated like as in a Discord server getting rated, if you get rated as in stars, then local rated player, so the player you're going to rate, is equals to players, find first child, players, find first child, argument 2. because argument 2 will be the player. If player.debounce.value is equals to false, and there's a rated player, so if you're trying to rate someone when they're not even in the game, for example, there was a little bug where if you leave the game but you still had the prompt open, you could rate them. So if you can rate and there's a rated player, then player.debounce.value is equals to true, because now you can not rate anymore. Remote event fire client. We're gonna fire to the player. We're gonna fire debounce, and what this does is we're gonna put a timer on your screen saying when you can vote again. Now, rated player dot players voted dot value plus equals 1, because one extra player voted. Rated player dot total rates dot value plus equals argument 3. Rated player dot last rating dot value is equals to argument 3. So we're not going to add anything, we're just going to set it. And rated player dot average rating dot value is equals to round number, and here's a tricky part. We're going to do rated player dot total rates dot value, so you should have 2 brackets, so 1 2 1 2. We're going to do divided by rated player dot players voted dot value, and we're going to add 1 decimal to it. Remote event fire client. We're going to fire the rated player, we're going to fire rated, and we're going to fire player.name. So what we're going to be doing in the other tutorial, we are going to code it in a way so that when you would do this, you would eventually get a notification saying, hey, this and this, blah blah blah. Now what we're going to be doing is task.wait 60. We're going to wait 60 seconds, and we're going to do player.debounce.value is equals to false. So after 60 seconds, your debounce goes to false. And then over here, for underscore, player in iPairs, players, get players do, and then player added, player, players, that player added, connect, player added, players, a player removing, connect, player removing. You're probably thinking, hey, we're done. No, we're not. There's one more function we need to do over here, and that is for I, v in pairs, booths, get children do, and then v that display that attachment that proximity prompt, and then the triggered. So if you're going to get a booth, we're going to fire a triggered connect function of a player. We're going to fire a player function, as you can see. What we're going to be doing now is v that display that attachment that proximity prompt that enabled is equals to false. Remote event fire client player, disable prompts, because you got a booth. We're not going to enable any prompts anymore. V that display that booth owner that value is equals to player. V that display that surface GUI that text label dot text is equals to player.name dot and then s booth. You know, player that own booth that value is equals to v, and then lastly remote event fire client player open GUI. This is your entire script done, and in the second part we're going to be coding the client script, and then everything will get its function. So if you did in fact enjoy this tutorial, and if this will help you out, make sure to give it a like if you like it. If you don't like it, drop a dislike on the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notification bell, become a member, do anything you want. Yeah, just do anything you want. And all I can say is that my name is Newbie, and I say peace out.